Here's a clip from the Southwestern Lead app.
Most people have probably had an experience like I had the other day in the backyard. It was getting close to evening time, and I saw a little bitty mushroom that was growing, and I thought, I need to pull that up by tomorrow. I went out the next morning, and the mushroom was gigantic. It was huge, like taking over the yard. Mushrooms have this amazing ability to start really small and then blow so big and gigantic. And I realized that the way our brains work sometimes, we can do something called mental mushrooming. And that's where we'll take a small thought, usually a negative thought, unfortunately, and we're going to expand that thought until it just takes over everything. Good example, when I was 13 or 14, I tried out for a singing part, singing an old Beatles song, and I thought I could really do the great harmony. My harmony was so bad that not only did the teacher say, well, thank you very much, we'll let you know, but all my friends said, do us a favor, Dan, never sing again. And so what happened is my brain began to captivate on this idea, oh my gosh, I can't sing. If ever I'm in a chorus and there's a really a cute person I'm interested in, I won't be able to appeal to that person. In fact, I shouldn't even go close to the chorus. In fact, karaoke hasn't even been invented yet, but I can't ever do karaoke. And this is a really simple, trivial example of how our brains can take an idea and really grow it. A more realistic one for an awful lot of young people is when they're doing their tests. They've got maybe an SAT or an ACT coming up, and the pressure begins to build. It's like, gosh, what if I don't get the score I need to get into the college I'm interested in? Well, if I don't get into the college I'm interested in, there's maybe a chance I won't get into any college. And if I don't get into any college, I'm not going to get a degree. If I don't get a degree, I'm never going to get a good job. If I don't get a good job, I'm never going to make any money. I'm going to have to live with my parents, probably in their basement. In fact, maybe they won't even let me be in the basement. Maybe I'll have to live down by a little cardboard box in the river. This is a prime example of mental mushrooming, how a little thought can take over and become gigantic and cloud all of our thinking. Well, one of the real things to remember about mushrooms and a lot of fungi is they grow best in the dark and when you feed a lot of, well, not good stuff on them. And so the way we overcome that is we want to expose the mushrooms to the light, and we want to make sure we're feeding the right stuff into these thoughts. So any thought that comes into our head can have a right to stay or has a right to go. And we need to always be alert to the thoughts coming in. And those that aren't constructive, that aren't helping us, that have a chance to really grow, we ought to just say, bye-bye. You're an ugly thought. That's exposing it to the light. And then I'm going to feed myself with some appropriate self-talk to get rid of that thought. Like, that's nonsense. If I don't hit a great score on the SAT or ACT, I can take it again. Or if I don't, I'll come up with something else because I'm resourceful. In other words, we take the mushrooms and don't let them grow too big. So when the thought comes in, it's got the potential to root in the ground, turn into a mushroom. We're going to expose it to light and say, wait a minute, you're just a thought. Get out of here. No room for you. And we're going to always overcome it by exposing it to good, positive food for thought, which is how we talk to ourselves. So be aware when these thoughts come in, they can grow way, way out of control. We can control them, we can deal with them, and help overcome mental mushrooming.
Southwestern Lead is an international leadership program that helps you build skills, gain confidence, and discover new opportunities. With professional coaching, a world-class digital learning platform, and certifications that will enhance your resume or application, Lead sets you apart. We'll show you how to turn success principles into success habits through small group training, one-on-one coaching, and guided action plans to help you apply what you're learning. It takes more than academics to reach your goals. See what one of America's oldest leadership training programs can do for you. Visit southwesternlead.com.